welcome to the Captain ThirdGen YouTube channel. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to the driving review of my 99 Corvette. Alright fellas, let's do a little driving review of the C5. So this here is a 99. It has a 6-speed. The engine is bone stock. It has about 98,000 miles on it. It's currently riding on summer tires. It's only about 38 degrees outside, so we will not be pushing the handling capabilities of the car today, but we can take it on a nice little drive. Now I've had this car for a little over a year, and I've put about 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it in that time. So this would be my impressions of this car. Now the ride quality for a sports car is actually very, very good. And this suspension, from what I can tell, is mostly, if not all, original. I did replace the sway bar end links, but just with stock replacement parts. So not any major upgrades there. The shocks are unmarked, so I'm assuming either they've been replaced before or the non-Z51 cars just got that non-marked shocks. But the ride quality is very good. Steering response is quite good as well. Now this car has a stock shifter, and as you saw there, it can be a little struggle to get it into first gear. Usually it has to do like a double click to get into first. I'm used to it now, but when I first bought the car, that was quite the adjustment for me. So you can see the throws on the shifter are quite long, but it feels quite good. I like this shifter. I'm not a huge fan of the shift knob, but now that I've driven the car so much, I've kind of grown to like it. So you can see the rest of the interior is all just standard stuff. But in terms of driving dynamics, it feels very good. I can see out of the car very well. Visibility is quite good. Ride quality is fantastic. Steering response is, in my opinion, some of the best I've felt. The turn-in isn't super sharp, and this is running stock size wheels and tires. And C5s are staggered from the factory. The fronts are 17 by 8.5 wheels. The rears are 18 by 9.5. So the front wheels and tires are a good bit smaller than the rear. And they do this on purpose. It helps the handling characteristics of the car be a little more predictable. So from a safety perspective, they like that. From an actual driving dynamics perspective, the car does feel a little bit understeer prone. But again, from the factory, they like to set them up that way. But even with the staggered small front tires, it actually handles very good. I will say the C5 is quite comfortable at the limit. The car is pretty happy to slide around, but it does have an active handling system, which you can turn completely off with one touch of that button, and I can turn it back on. If you press and hold that button, you'll put it into competitive driving mode, which basically leaves traction and active handling systems on, but at a reduced level. So if you're on a racetrack, perhaps competitive driving mode is what you want to use. But overall, I love this car. It's fantastic to drive. I fit in it very well, especially compared to my C4. This car is very comfortable. The stock seats are very comfortable. The driving position's great. It is very, very low to the ground, but that's kind of what you'd expect out of a sports car. The inside is reasonably quiet. I'm not getting a ridiculous amount of road noise. My fresh summer tires do pick up quite a bit of rocks and debris, but I'm sure once they get some heat cycles in them, that'll level out. But it's a very fun car to drive. The engine feels very good. Now this is the same LS1 that my Trans Am has, except my Trans Am has an LS6 intake. It's a model year specific thing. But this one has an electronic throttle, which kind of makes it feel completely different than my Trans Am's engine. The Trans Am uses a cable throttle. So this one feels, I would say, a little touchier, a little more eager to go, because relative to a cable throttle, small throttle inputs on the C5 lead to large throttle blade openings. So I mean, this thing feels pretty quick. It moves out without much fuss at all. And due to having larger back tires, it weight transfers very nice, and it just puts the power down. Even though it's only in the 30s here today, these summer tires, they're not ideal for these weather conditions. This car puts the power down beautifully. This thing will only wheel spin if you want it to. And with traction on, it's, you know, you'd have to be a pretty bad driver to hurt yourself with this car. You see her going through these long sweeper turns. It's very nice. Car corners reasonably flat. I will say it does have some body roll, but we're on stock sway bars, stock dampers, things like that. So there's a lot of upgrades that I could do if it really bothered me. But for just public road use, it's more than adequate. But the sixth gear on the T56 here is 0.5 to 1. So, and with the factory differential ratio of 342, this thing is a highway monster. At 70-75 miles an hour, you're only doing about 1,500 RPM, which just makes for a fantastic highway car. The fuel economy is actually crazy. It's very easy to get over 30 miles a gallon with this car on the highway. And due to the aerodynamic shape of the car, even at 80-90 miles an hour, the car feels phenomenally planted. It just cuts right through the air. Very, very nice. Even if it's a really windy day, this car does not care. I will say the electronic throttle is calibrated pretty well. It's quite easy to get used to. Rev matching is not hard in this car. With my V6 Firebird, that electronic throttle, it was very tricky for me to learn how to rev match downshift with that car, just because the throttle felt so weird. This car is not the case. This car feels quite natural. You know, obviously once I get used to it. But overall, it feels great. I really like driving this car. See, a couple rev matches there. It's quite easy. But even just for everyday use, this car is remarkably comfortable. It's a very pleasant car to spend a lot of time in. Let's see what this guy's doing here. Let's give her the beans a little bit. Catch up to this tow truck in no time. You see here a pretty sharp turn in. The C5 is equipped with a Magnus steering system, which is basically a very primitive variable effort steering system. Basically, the faster you go, the heavier the steering gets. And it feels pretty natural. It's almost exactly the same system that my Buick Park Avenue used. The higher end GM cars of the late 90s, they were really pushing this Magnus steer system. But it feels quite good. I have heard people having problems with it, but this car seems to work just fine. But yeah, for a everyday use sports car, it really doesn't get much better than this. You have plenty of power to have fun with. It puts the power down well. The car's reasonably cheap to maintain, reasonably cheap to run. Very comfortable, good gas mileage. All around, just a fantastic package. very mechanical feel compared to newer cars. You do get an interesting gear whine from the transaxle, transmission mounted in the back there. So it does sacrifice a little refinement, but I would say that it adds a nice mechanical character to the car. But overall, yeah, it's a very nice car to drive. But all around, the inputs of the car feel very good. The brakes feel phenomenal, and these are just standard. I just dragged the air dam a little bit there. Oops. I will say that this car drags the air dam everywhere. Pretty common thing for C5s and C6s. I bet I'm gonna drag it leaving this driveway too. Oh, I got skills. Never mind. I sold myself short. Hey, green light. Let's go. But yeah, overall, the inputs of this car feel very good. Brakes feel phenomenal. And these are just basic 2-piston PBR calipers, nothing spectacular. But the brakes feel great. The car stops great. Steering feels good. Shifter, it's a very heavy shifter, I will say, compared to a lot of, especially more modern cars. Because you're moving a lot of linkage that runs behind me here to the transmission mounted right on the differential back there. So you're moving a lot of metal here, so that the shifter throw is a good bit heavier than I think what most people are used to. But the clutch is very easy to get used to. I would say overall this car is a very forgiving car to drive, and it feels very natural to most people. The weight distribution, it makes it so it handles very predictably. Even when the back end starts to slide around a little bit, it's not, I would say, startling or anything. The car feels very good. All around, a nice car to use. But this is truly a do-all sports car. You could take this thing to the track and just beat on it all day long, or you could drive it like I do on the street and just have a lot of fun with it. You could take it on road trips. I've done that. That was always a lot of fun. You could just drive it to work, which a lot of the time is what I do. It's a very comfortable car. As you can see, I fit in the car quite well, and it's very comfortable. Remember to leave a comment for any videos you might want to see in the future.